Okay, let's do part B or part two of lesson 54, and we're going to round up this whole conversation or covering the on a personality building that all this is as ad material. You'll find it online, right? And it's from Tracy Johnson as well. So say online at Call Campus. Don't forget to go there to get your copy of this, right? It's the document that we're going through. And in this particular last lesson, just to cover that up and close up our Heritage Day academics, right? I'm going to be then just crossing over to a number. I'm just going to float on over. You can't see this yet. I'm going to switch screens just a moment to a number of little short personality centered or focused videos from Tracy Johnson himself, who did write also this little article over here and so we'll end over there. Okay, so we're going to go with chapter 4, 5, and 6 right within the document itself, and we'll start off with the character synopsis. Right. Okay. So now that you have obviously your list, as we've done in the previous lessons, as well, summarize your character with a few key traits from each category. Simplicity is definitely key because we are many different things, and again, as I keep saying, we are complex because we are complex creatures, and that is sometimes a good thing, it's sometimes a bad thing, right? Specifically when it comes to radio, because you can't give the listener everything about you, and it's too much, you know. Just like being able to go to a buffet, you know, for example, is it looks very nice. It's a wonderful idea to be able to just pick and choose whatever you want and as much of it as you want as well, but it's just not a great idea for your body. Right? Because what happens is that you want a little bit of this and that and this and that and this and that and that and that, and you'll end up with two or three plates. And I'm guessing your stomach is not going to agree with you a little bit later, right? So remember, just to break it down, simplify it, right? Simplify yourself and exactly what it is that you want to share with your audience, and over time, as I said to you, limit the synopsis to of yourself to no more than five character traits, and the synopsis makes your character easy to understand. So, if we go and we have a look at an example like a sitcom, right? So you can see here, if you were someone that did watch, or maybe because I know that it was a different time for you, Friends was really one of the biggest comedic hits of there's a little picture of all the friends there. Uh, I can't remember his name. This poor guy died from an overdose. I think it was last year, Shaman. But anyway, I think the most popular, most recognizable person is Jennifer Aniston over there. Right, but anyway, Friends was a really great comedy, very well written, and very popular once again. So here we've got some different personalities, very different personalities with Chandler, Joey, Ross, Phoebe, Rachel, and Monica. So are you, for example, Monica Smart, like Monica was cynical. She worked for everything that she has. Romantic disaster area definitely lands up with Chandler over there. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Rachel was actually very rich, and she was cut off, I think, from her family, if I can remember well enough. Adorable, courageous, terrified. Monica's best friend from high school, and on her own for the first time, but equipped to do nothing. Phoebe Sweet, are you flaky, new age, AG, you know, so kind of like alternative, kind of like, uh, what is the word I'm looking for? Um, Bougie, right, right, good soul, plays guitar in the subways. There's Ross, intelligence, emotional, facing singlehood and hating it. There's Joey, he's handsome, is macho, smug, wants to be a doctor, or Al Pacino, loves women, star, sports, and, well, also he loves women again. And then Chandler, right, observer of life, others, and his own survives on his sense of humor and snacks. Yeah, so there's just a bit of an example as to how you can just summarize certain things about, just close this here. Okay, certain things about the personality traits, right? Anyway, so you can kind of look at it from a character point of view, a character But I would always disclaim, please be careful about the word character because it makes it sound like we want to push you to be something that is fiction, right? Okay, so you're not fiction, but you definitely these are supposed to be people, again, characters that are developed as people that have a lot of dimension and certain personality traits that will never go, right? Like Monica will not stop being cynical, and Rachel will not stop being courageous, and Phoebe will not stop it being liberated or whatever it is, right? So we're going to look at that and say, okay, cool, great. There's many times writers create an episode storylines based on a synopsis here. So why don't you also do the same? You apply it to your show and say, well, because you're going to anyway be led, or you're going to be drawn or magnetically drawn to content, events, situations, conversations that interest you as well. Now, I always say do it first for the listener. You always will do it first for the listener. But the thing is that whenever you prep your show, you have to have buy-in, which I've said that before as well. The buy-in comes from how passionate you are about what is included or inclusive within your show context itself. Okay. So before we do the three-word summary, let's cross on over. So I'll quickly go here. Stop the share there. Let's do one of those videos. Let's do one or two of those videos. Let's share. And it's over here. I'll put the sound on over there. And let's have a quick look at. Here we go. Let's look at this one here.
If you're on the air, your job is more than just filling the time between the songs. Anyone can do that. In fact, technology can do a pretty good job of that too. You've got to be more than just a friendly voice on the air filling time.
Let me start that again. YouTube.
If you're on the air, your job is more than just filling the time between the songs. Anyone can do that. In fact, technology can do a pretty good job of that too. You've got to be more than just a friendly voice on the air filling time. You're a personality. But that's a hard job, isn't it? What makes you stand out from everyone else? What makes one personality different? It's your unique traits. And until you discover how to bottle it, package it, and present it, it's hard. And a lot of people struggle with this. You need to find your character voice. It's that unique fingerprint that makes listeners connect with you, makes them remember you, and most importantly, it makes them want to come back over and over and spend more time with you. The best time to discover your character voice is before you ever turn on the microphone. Second best time is right now. Here's the truth. Building a strong character brand usually takes a deep dive. I recommend you do a full character brand profile. It's like finding out who you are, a roadmap for your on-air identity based on who you are off the air. And there's a free tool to help you do it. You should go to radiocontentpro.com and click on resources. You'll find the link to build a character profile, and it's amazing. But sometimes you might want a shortcut. Or even after you have your profile, you might need to focus it a little bit more. So today I'm going to give you 3 questions. I want you to answer these questions honestly, and you'll start to uncover the heart of your character voice. Number 1 is the I am statement. Now, this is about your essence. It's not your job, it's not your title, it's who you are at your core. Maybe yours is, I'm a hopeless romantic, always surprised when relationships don't work out. Or, I'm an eternal optimist, always looking for the good in people. These are a short sentence or two that unlocks an entire world of stories and angles that you can share with your audience. It might show how you find angles that turn ordinary topics that everyone else is talking about, everyone else is doing it, but it's something only you could present because it's passed through your I am filter. Second question is, I was. What were you in the past? This taps into your emotional history. I had to fail. Or I was lonely, but I learned how to like being myself and being by myself and with myself. This reveals some vulnerabilities, doesn't it? It's your relatability, and it'll also help you to find ways to help listeners realize that you get them because they can relate to you. That's powerful. And the third question to answer is the story of my life statement. This gets to the recurring theme that you keep running into. The story of my life is never fitting in. or the story of, and I'm on chapter 276. Every personality has a story. You've got an uphill struggle somewhere, something that is an ongoing quest, something you want that you can just not quite find. Naming it, putting a label on it, makes you more relatable, more aware of it. It makes you more vulnerable, and frankly, more human. It might be serious, it might be funny. It should always be quirky because quirks are the fastest way for the audience to get to know you. Now, if you're on a Christian radio station, this can be especially meaningful. If your I am statement is, I'm always someone who is looking for hope in hard places, that perspective will naturally shape how you talk about songs, about your faith, and about life. Or maybe your story of my life is that God keeps putting me in situations where my patience is tested. That theme can become an endless source of relatable stories for the audience, and they will share in that with you. You'll find your statements if you answer those three questions. And one way to find it is doing that full character profile. It'll help reveal some of these things for you. But the next part is, what do you do with it? Now that you've got it, how do you apply it on the air? Well, you have to work at it. You can ask yourself, how would my character talk about this topic? You're looking at your character voice, your character that you play on the air, to be a on-air version of your real life, but it's not exactly like your real life. You're passing it through that filter. So how would you talk about a topic or present a story or read a promo or do a liner or do something simple like a weather forecast? Think about it like this. Imagine Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory. How would he deliver the weather? He'd go deep into the science of storm systems, and it would probably be funny because it's so nerdy. How about Seinfeld? He'd make fun of why people even leave the house in bad weather, and eventually he'd let you know that it's getting around to a storm coming in. How would your character do it? What would you say? What would you speak into it as only you can? And this is the profound things, the big stories you tell, the longer breaks, and the small things. The point is, your delivery should always filter through your character voice, and your character voice can have many different aspects if you define it properly. So don't settle for just being another voice between the songs. Take a shortcut. Write your I am, I was, and story of my life statements. Then go to radiocontentpro.com, click on resources, and look for the link to build your character profile. Answer the questions, and it'll come back to you in an email in about 5 minutes. Then apply it every time you open the mic. If you do that and add the 3 E's of entertainment, exaggerate, enhance, and embellish, suddenly you'll have transformed everyday breaks into content that only you can deliver and keeps the audience coming back over and over. Because at the end of the day, what wins? Personality wins.
Right.
You win. Only.
I just want to stop it just there. A second. Did not say there was a link to this thing. Uh, it would be nice. Okay. Just follow as you said there. There was a what was that site now? Let's see where you put that site's name here. There it is. There we go. It's now. See. See
And click
radio,
on resources. You'll find the link to build a
radiocontent.pro. Let's go look at this. Radio content dot pro. You see what you can go expect there. No, that doesn't look proper. Radio content pro. Let's see what pops up here. It'll pop up here. I think it's radio content pro. Right. Let's see what happens here. Maybe there is that file that I can actually just quickly download here for you. Anyway, while that happens, and I do find that, if I do find it, I'm not gonna waste your time here. Uh, Here's the kits here. Mainstream. Let's just move that here. I said I wasn't gonna waste your time, right? So let me just not do that. Let me go as far down as I can with this. Tools and resources. So there we go. Here's this character profile. All right, let me see. I'm gonna get that well AI generator, I suppose, because you're gonna enter some stuff as Tracy said there. Uh, and then see their free character profile, right? With $2,000 value. Good Lord. Right. Um, right, and You can go and fill it out over there so you know where that is. Okay. I'm just gonna pop on over back to the lesson itself, and then we'll pop again over to Tracy for another lesson, another video, and then we'll finish up with chapter 6, right? And we'll close up with another lesson, or a little bit of a it's so short, it's a bit of a soundbite, right? From Tracy Johnson. Okay, so the three-word summary. Right, the next step after all of these steps that we have covered already is to really reduce the essence of the character of your character to just a few couple of words, right? That's really hard. Like, who am I? Am I, for example, three-word summaries, cranky middle-aged guy, fast food-loving family man, a sarcastic animal rights activist, a self-doubting metrosexual, a middle-aged dad, a fun-loving party girl, a snarky observer, right? So if we want to look at consistency, we know that consistency is really important because people want someone that they know kind of predictably. And we say, oh, predictability is such a bad thing. It might sound boring. It's not. It makes it well, they kind of know what you're going to be or say or look like. You're not volatile. In other words, unpredictable, which is really bad as a personality. And I've said why also before, right? But if we look at the character consistency, like let's have a look at approach each break. So in other words, from the character's perspective, and you can find an entry point for nearly any topic that you want. So think about, for example, this middle-aged dad. How would this person respond to a particular topic about, for example, abortion, right? Okay. And the thing is, my only issue just with this, like maybe another disclaimer is be careful. Don't always be the very strong, staunch middle-aged dad, so that people only guess, say, oh, dude is just about middle-aged this, middle-aged that, middle-aged this, middle-aged that, whatever it is. It's part of who you are, true, right? And it will affect definitely how you approach definitely your shows and obviously how people get to know you. But again, like you as a person, for me, you can't be summarized by three words, right? But it's a good start, a good place to start. So would you respond? Okay. For example, each of the characters listed on the left would have a different, distinct approach and opinion to the topic. Test it and see. Think of a current topic and how would each of these people react. So, for example, I said abortion, like a cranky middle-aged guy, right? Might not have, I suppose if he is cranky, he might have a little bit of a problem about the liberation around or the confusion about liberation that has to do or revolves around abortion, right? Fast food loving family man. Now, this one will obviously be more about like maybe some family values in terms of grow family, keep a child, or maybe you might be a little more empathetic and be like, well, I mean, I can understand as a family man, I wouldn't necessarily, if for example my wife was raped by someone else or whatever it may be, and we don't really want that kind of trauma for a lifetime to be brought on, I would definitely support it in abortion or whatever it may be, right? Um, and so on and so forth. I'm not quite sure as to what a sarcastic animal rights activist might say, but they might take the activist point of view, and add it according to that. Excuse me there. Right. So if you're getting stuck on coming up with a summary, think of where you were 7 years or when you were 7 years old. This is a great age because you really haven't been influenced by family in the world or whatever it may be. Not just yet. You were at school, and so you're kind of starting to find your way around different people and different cultures and different situations, whatever it is. And then trying to think of how that person, that little child, that little version of you, would respond to a specific subject matter, right? Okay. So one shows positioning summary, let's say the class clown, the crybaby, and the Girl Scout. So reducing your character to the three-word summary is hard, but it takes time. And it's important, so don't rush the step. So let's see what goes here next. All right, so chapter 6. This is the last bit of it. I just want to go back. As I said, I want to just I want to go interlinked with more Tracy Johnson stuff. Just go to another video. We'll just close this so you know that you can go there. Here we go. So this is the character profile. I think he's going to.
You know, your character voice is rocket fuel for your personal brand, but a lot of personalities don't have a clear vision of who they are on the air. To be an authentic, difference making personality, you need a character profile to guide your performance, and it should be based on your real life personality. Consuming, hard, and normally expensive. I charge $2,000 to conduct a full character brand profile, and it takes 2 or 3 weeks. But my friends at Radio Content Pro have made it easy, fast, and best of all, free. RCP has adapted my system into an easy to use automated process. Complete the questionnaire, and in just a few minutes, you'll have a detailed, thorough character profile with tips and suggestions on how to use it. Now, listen to what Fernando Prieto says about it. He was an early adopter, and he's blown away.
Hey, I'm Fernando, the production director of M90.5 in Tampa. I came across the Radio Content Pro character profile. I want to say I was one of the first people to see it on the website when they put it up there. And I asked Tracy about it, and I was like, all right, let's do this. So you answer a few questions, and in minutes, it produces a full character profile that you can use to inform how you come across on the air, and it provides you, some guidance as well. It's not just, hey, this is your personality, but like ways to utilize it on the air, which is really cool.
A character brand profile is exactly what you need to turn the traits in your real life into a compelling personality based on your authentic off-air personality. It'll help you find perspectives on topics instead of just presenting information and stories, and you'll have more power and confidence in your opinions. And now, Radio Content Pro users can use it for any piece of content to get inspiration and personalized content crafted just for you. Personality. When you get this right, everything else will fall into place. It's fast, it's amazingly accurate, and it's free. Now, a couple of tips. Don't rush through the survey. Answer honestly and authentically. Plan to spend at least 20 minutes answering the questions. When you're finished, click submit, and you'll get a notice to download your profile a few minutes later. Are you ready? Let's start building your character brand profile now.
Okay, that's the last one up there. Well, not the second last one, and the last one is the formula for winning. I'm just going to put it on pause for the moment. A little bit of a short one, right? Quick tip. But I want to just finish up our theory with chapter 6 over there. So let me just hop on back here. Yeah. Right, I hope this has been helping you and that it excites you a little bit more as to the next steps of how you can, get to know yourself better. Even me, at this ripe old age throughout the industry, it's always good to, as I said to you, you change as a human being. And so you change as a personality and you want different things. You want to offer different things as well, because different things become important to you in your own life and your own line of sight, right? So here's a bit of a character map, right? And we've seen character maps in our own context as well, with circles and the composite listener, etc., etc. For example, I'm just going to zoom in this in just a slight bit. Right, sure. So here we go. With the host, the duty is the quarterback of the morning show. Wheeler has the final say on the show content. What does it say? Writes and producers. But so who is Wheeler in this case? Former playboy around town. Well, okay. Now dating, now dating one golfer, a hockey player, one-eyed Jack, Star Wars fan, tattooed workaholic. Uh, uh, Misogynistic, so he's a misogynist. Wow, okay. Conspiracy freak, neat freak, slightly OCD, control freak, just put a dog called Vegas. Fears what his mother might think, right? Becoming physically dependent, not how much money he makes, where Candace works. That Candace is a model. I don't know who Candace is. I'll be honest with you, right? Anyway, Right, there's the co-host. Okay, due to his phone calls, and the NOB line, knob line. Knob sounds very odd. Okay, but anyway, we know what obviously that is. It's just the control line for voice notes, etc. And call-ins, sports, best ofs, daily promos, morning show, blogs. So what else does Philly do? Or he's Philly. Sports Geek, Montreal Canadiens fan, San Francisco 49ers fan, bad golfer, poor hockey player, married with a baby on the way, has a trophy wife who doubles as an aerobics instructor, self-deprecating and out of touch. Well, it says there, no, he's a diehard, sorry, a diehard, Winnipegger, is it Transcona? A boy, lots of interaction with the in-laws. Stacy wears the pants. That's obviously his wife. Okay, Phil watches because it's a lot of porn. Okay, whatever. Job security and how to fix the family health of himself and his family finances. Obviously, he's also scared about that. And what is a no ex-girlfriend? He doesn't like it. His sister, his liver, deeply personal home issues, I'd say. Um, okay. Anyway, he's the sidekick, quote unquote, right? Duties, news, entertainment, weather, traffic, podcast, stunts. So who is Rena? The new girl in Tell the Boys. These two boys are here. Right, you'd have to because they don't really sound. They sound like a lot of work. Doesn't mind being single and looking for a football player. And she's aloof with men. Small town girl. Loves slow pitch. A generation younger, right? So she could be probably millennial when this was written, right? So, Rena, is it right? I can't even, the writing's so terrible, sorry. I'm just going to skip that. Intelligent. She is a pet lover, very active, loves kickball, boxing, hates hugs, not into small talk. Bad driver, loves Glee, the show, and Dexter, the show, right? So she fears losing a job. Hey, my sister, don't we all, right? Um, Commitment, losing touch with the family, and what's a big no for her? Do not pass or paint her as an unintelligible or a skank, right? So, like someone slutty. Religious talk is boring, and don't please talk about her dad. Wow. Let's look at chapter 7 quickly and close this up. Let's move back a little bit here. All right, so take it to air. After all of this here, let's have a look at what the three E's of entertainment that you heard. Tracy just mentioned quite briefly on the video, and here's a little bit of a meme. No, I wouldn't say you're a liar, more like compulsive over exaggerator, right? The three E's and performance. So point out when you have an opinion that is out of character for you. So, I hate reality TV, but I find myself strangely obsessed with The Bachelor this season. Highlight when someone else on the show says something out of their character. I can't believe that you're saying that because you always side with my husband or with husbands, right? Look for topics. We'll see what the three E's. Remember the three E's, right? Look for topics that show off character. So if you're like Jason and are raging you're a raging xenophobe, get ready to cringe because we live in a dirty city in America. Find points of contrast and exaggerate them. Spender versus shopper. Fitness nut versus couch potato. The optimist versus the pessimist. Topics fail on some shows because there's no contrast. So Kel is popular now. I love Kel. Me too. Yawn. Boring, right? Okay, that's kind of like agreeable, agreeable, agreeable. Sorry. Start, let's go back there. Right, so use stories that speak to one of the characters. The fast food lover, for example, showcases his obsession with food with a story like the announcement about the new Burger King Mac and Cheetos. Great opportunity for promos and money. Tease each other in exaggerated ways if you are on a team, or allow yourself to be self deprecating in a very healthy way. Playful teasing is an important component of successful multiplayer shows, right? Okay. So that is just the end of that article. Just close that over there. And let's hop on back here. That's okay. Give me a second here. Let me just quickly have a look at this last little video and watch together in the right.
The world has changed. You don't need me to tell you that, but society has changed, and technology has changed, and radio has changed too. Everything's in a constant state of evolution, and that's a good thing, because wouldn't it be boring if nothing ever changed? But here's a question. Has the formula for winning air talent changed over the years? I don't think so, not really. Casey Kasem once said that despite all the technology and technical improvements, it still boils down to a man or a woman sharing stories and communicating with an audience. Isn't that comforting? Same as it ever was. How will you make a personal connection with the listener that nobody else can? The way we tell those stories evolves. It always changes. The stories have to change, but the fundamentals, they're the same. There's as much opportunity as ever for talent that can build and lead a fan base, both on the air and off. Stations that just compete with a better mix of music know that listeners have options and they're fast to use them. Without meaningful, irreplaceable reasons to tune in, one day listeners won't come back quite as easily. Great personalities are the future, not just for radio, but for leading audiences. Be one of the difference makers.
Nice. Okay, that's how we'll close off today. All right, and happy Heritage Day, man. Let's enjoy it as a family, South Africans. Cheers.